I want to see. Okay. All right. I think I just found my opening.
Oh god. I'm opening you with that fucking manic laughter, if anything.
So,
You start now.
yes, so on my anime list, there is this like little forum casual discussion about real life harems, comparative to anime.
Oh.
And people were asking, have you ever seen like a real life harem? And it's like, they don't exist. Girls are a myth. I have seen one, and then I have slash had one. And I was curious.
Oh
And actually,
no.
21 people, which was almost, it was 20% of the vote, said that they've had one. And I'm like, no, there's no, they have to be lying. I mean, there's probably people who have, but there's no way it's that high in the sample pool.
Shio, they have a harem of body pillows. Don't shame them.
Oh, yeah, or their little waifu shrine, or
They're all
husbando
in
shrine.
jars.
I mean, I have you in a jar.
Oh my god.
I still have it.
Forgot about that. You know, I actually saw something on it was on Facebook of all things yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I don't know if this is specifically a Facebook thing. I think it is, where you can have like the 3D image where you can like turn it and look around a room.
Okay.
But you're inside a jar and there's just a pony staring at you, reaching to grab the jar behind you. And you can turn around and look around the room, and then when you turn all the way around, it's just the pony grabbing for the jar, and it's like, your turn next. Like,
Oh, I hate that.
I love it.
I hate that. Oh, that's so cursed. That's so cursed.
Somebody shared it, and I was like, that's brilliant. I love that. This is why I keep Facebook.
Facebook is a great breeding ground for absolute insanity.
You're not wrong. It has gone through multiple arcs the past like couple weeks for me of just like, this is really what they're talking about on. I've seen conversations happen on Facebook I have seen happen on no other platform I'm on. It is insane.
I'm glad you're able to enjoy them. I usually scroll through Facebook and then I get stuck on the stupid videos and then I'm stuck.
I never look at the videos. I mostly go through it to see what like my friends are doing. The friends that I haven't talked to in like 5 years, you know, but like okay, this one had a kid like 3 years ago. I didn't know that. Like I just, peep in on their lives.
Yeah, Facebook doesn't even show me my friends anymore. I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is.
I feel like
it does show me my 2 friends watching One Piece though.
Oh my god.
And so I see a lot of One Piece.
I feel like that's the turn for a lot of social medias, because Twitter or X is also just very forward with not showing you the people you follow. And Instagram does the same shit now.
I will say, I've strangely had a very pleasant experience on Twitter when I use my For You page, and I'm like, what?
I do too! I thought it was
so
just
weird.
me!
I don't like this. This makes me uncomfortable.
I'm like, everyone's complaining about the For You page, being like, oh, this is so bad, and I'm like, mine's fucking great. Maybe y'all just like the wrong kind of content. Maybe you shouldn't be following all these weird people and you would actually get a decent For You page. Because mine's pretty rad.
Yeah, mine's like the idol animes I watch, and then like shoujo manga recommendations, and like cute photos, and then like stuff of people I follow, and I'm like, wow. And then once in a while I'll see Rice Ball Conflict in there, and I'm like, hey, it's us.
Mine's all like, mine's some anime news, but most of mine's VTuber related, so it's like new artwork, or like an outfit reveal, a new model reveal, or like, something cool like that. Most of mine's relatively positive, and I'll get every now and then like somebody posted something and not safe for work and didn't decide to put the filter on it, so there's just a giant dong on my phone now. But people don't like to use those filters for some reason, and I don't get why.
Yeah, you use the filters if we have them.
Yeah, please. Like, I'm not embarrassed by it. Like, if somebody sees it behind me on the bus, I don't fucking care. But sometimes I just don't want to see the, like, giant horse dong coming out of your VTuber model, you know? Sometimes I'm not in the mood.
So I'm just not in the mood for horse dong. Sorry.
Yeah. I know some anime characters that are down for some horse dong. But, you know.
I'm very happy to say I don't know any. Thankfully.
I've watched enough shitty ecchi series to satiate that, so.
Does that include a harem surrounding a horse dong?
Yes.
Oh.
It actually does.
Oh.
Well, maybe not a dong, but
good thing we're talking about harems today. So tell us all about it while I plug my ears real quick and bleach my eyes.
Not so much the horse dog, but it's you know, Monster Musume. They have a horse chick on there.
Oh, they really?
Yeah, one of the girls is a giant centaur chick.
Oh, I mean, I knew the scent. Oh, you know, I never put that together.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I knew they put the centaur chick. I just never put the dong together.
Yep. Definitely not best girl in that series, but you know, solid contender for some people, I guess.
Not my contention, though.
I'd go. I know this is definitely not your contention, but I like the spider chick, so.
Oh, no, it's not my contention at all. No, there's nothing spiders can do for me.
Her design was so nice. You're gonna know if me and Shio ever, like, dislike each other or, like, end on bad terms, because I'm just gonna rebrand as a spider VTuber.
I already follow I was following someone and they rebranded into a spider VTuber and I didn't know that. And then I rated them and I got jump scared.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh, hi, yeah, great to see you again. And I'm like trying to leave desperately and quickly because I'm like, I'm scared, leave me alone, I'm scared. I didn't laugh.
Oh my god. That's brilliant.
Oh, I mean, it's a nice design. It's just I don't do spiders.
That's perfectly valid. Arachnophobia is a valid reason to not like spiders. I don't blame anybody for it. As someone that has had them for pets for many years, I don't really have a problem with them though. I don't have any pets of them now, but I did. So, but Monster Musume definitely being like a decent twist on the harem genre when it came out and inspired a lot more harems just like it with the Monster Girls.
It definitely brought out the monster fuckers.
Oh yeah, which I support. You know, we need a little more variety. I think some of the harems were getting a little stale with its archetypes. Like, there's only so many times you can have, okay, here's the pink-haired one, here's the blue-haired one, here's the blonde one, here's the dark-haired one. Now you just like, okay, what species are we gonna cross with a human now?
Hopefully no more.
No, I want more. I want Interspecies Reviewers Season 2. Even though that's not technically a harem, I don't think. They just fuck a lot of monster girls, but you know.
It's fine.
Yeah. Also, addressing the elephant in the room. Because it's gonna come up because we're gonna be talking about all harems. But reverse harems don't exist. The concept does not exist. So, when we're talking about harems, we're talking about all harems. Harems geared towards females, harems geared towards men. Mixed. Not reverse harem, because, like, the implication of reverse harem means, like, literally no bitches.
Yeah, it's like no one likes you, you're solo.
Yeah. Like, I was trying to think about it. I was like, what would be, is there an anime that was, like, literally no bitches the anime? And the closest I could think of was like Free. But then I remember there is one bitches. But I don't think she, like, has an interest in any of them. I think she's just, like, the supportive little sister. But...
I mean, a few of them have interest in her, though. Not the main cast. Not the main cast.
Okay, yeah. Of the main cast, I was like, nah, they're all, like...
Yeah, no, not the main cast. No. But there are side characters that do.
But yeah, like, that's the closest... Like, the only other thing I can think of is No Bitches, the anime with, like, no love, no hoes, might be Berserk. But again, there is one bitches. So, I have no clue. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
well, we're talking about the shows and anime and manga that you get the bitches, all the bitches.
Yeah. We fully
and
support gender equality here, so.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about multiple, which my fun discovery on this one, by the way, is I've watched triple the amount of female cast harems than I have with, like, the male cast harems. I've watched very few male cast harems.
I watched a few.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
when I say cast, I mean, like, all the guys. It's the female with all the guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've watched far more with, like, multiple females with the male lead than I have the male ones, so.
Okay.
Because I watch a lot of ecchi, so. None of them are isekais either. It's great.
I think only one of the ones I want to talk about is an isekai, but it's you can't not love those characters. They're just so great. So Cyan, do you want to introduce us to so do we want to talk about what we're doing for the full episode, or do we want to just jump right in?
So first half of this episode, we're going to talk about some of our favorite harems that we think deserve a little more attention and love. But for the second part, we're actually going to build our own harem.
Yes.
That we painstakingly picked for over the past week.
Very painstakingly.
Yeah. So, look forward to judging us on our tastes there. So, yeah, we're gonna...
yeah.
a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be.
It was so hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to pick, and oh god, it was so hard. Yeah. I'm still doubting my choices, and still, like, it's...
I appreciate that we both went in with the concept of, like, we're not just gonna pick our top 5 husbandos, we're gonna pick the top 5 guys that would fit into an actual harem setting for us if we were in our own anime with these romantic options.
Yeah, they would make sense with us and our own personal desires and needs.
Yeah. So,
because I don't think Aizen would make a very good harem character. No offense.
Yeah. And most of my favorite male leads are in relationships, and I chose to, like, not pick ones that were in, like, that I like the ship of. So no Hatsuharu for me, because his heart belongs to Rin, and I'm not gonna steal him away from her. So
I mean, yeah, no, I definitely pick guys who are in relationships. Sorry. It's like, this is my harem. They don't exist.
Shio's a homewrecker confirmed.
No.
All right. Well, you wanna bring in your first one, since I talked a little bit about Monster Masume a little bit.
Do I start? I'm gonna start with one that people know. I'm not gonna start off strong. I'm gonna start off with something people know that. I really love the show HameFura, or what's the full title? It is, I call it the Otome game. Isekai. My next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, because so that one, essentially Katarina gets reincarnated. Well, she wakes up one day and she has the memories of her past life, so she got isekai'd. And she realizes that she is the villainess and she's done all these shitty things, and her goal is to make all of them happy so none of them want to kill her. Well, in the process, she ends up having all of them fall in love with her instead of the main character, who's going to be introduced later. And it's males and females that end up falling in love with her. And and I will say, it is there's a lot of series that have come after this that kind of follow that same kind of plot line.
Yeah.
Um, but the characters in this one are absolutely lovable. There's only one of them I don't like, and it's just because they're like they grew up as like siblings. That's the only reason I don't like that one guy. Other than
Fair.
that, I love them all.
See, I watched
Like
the first season of it. I had to
mhm,
drop it because I felt like I'm a
mhm,
big advocate for these kind of shows without the isekai elements,
mhm.
but I felt like aside from main character, and like even main character, they were just kind of. I felt like all the other characters were like insert characters. Like it's like the reverse of what normally happens in these kind of harems, where the main female is an insert character with no personality, making no choices, and then all the guys are like just taking advantage of it. I felt like main character is her own character, and then all the guys are just insert characters that just she takes advantage of. And I felt like I was like, okay, I can't do this. I can deal with one insert character. I can't deal with five.
Uh, I really liked all
Yeah.
the cast. I just thought they were all really fun. They were really quirky. I am a hardcore lover of like the Dark Prince type,
Mm-hmm.
so I found my match immediately.
Of course.
Um, but I also God, like I've never. I usually I watch a harem and I will like only like a few characters and the rest of them like eh. The fact that there's only one that I'm about, and it's not because of their character, it's just because of like the relation.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I just I really enjoy it. That and it's really light. Well, I say lighthearted, but there's dark elements sometimes. But it's like lighthearted and it just makes me smile. And
Fair.
I just really like it. And I think if you're looking for not necessarily like a good invigorating story, but just looking for like a nice lighthearted time, I think this is a good harem to check out.
Yeah. I will say, I think most harem series, like actual true harem series, not whatever AniList has going on, most of them aren't like, you're not going into them for a heavy plot and like extensive character building and stuff. You're going in there for kind of a shitty harem where you're gonna get exactly what you want, and like you're gonna find your favorite character, you're gonna pray your favorite ship happens, you're gonna look for the cute moments, and like I feel like that's like you know what you're getting with the harem. You're not going into it thinking it's gonna be the next like Evangelion. So it's just so I feel like you shouldn't expect a super heavy story. So when
Well,
you can get something like that out of it,
it made me think that the question would Shinji technically be in a harem?
he does technically get more than two bitches.
So maybe you do go into it thinking it's the next Evangelion.
Is Evangelion on AniList for a harem?
No! But I was thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
One,
granted,
two, three,
there's
four.
four. There's four.
Oh my
He
god.
gets smooches from like three of them, and he touches a boob on the other. So he gets four bitches.
Protagonists. Let's go. Then people could go into these thinking they're the next Ava.
Okay, but also if we're going to go into that, I would like to propose the option of Hitman Reborn also being a harem, because literally everyone in that cast wants his body in some way.
I've already have agreed on that. I'm currently reading a Reborn fic that is a harem fic.
Yeah.
Suna All is very real. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, in canon, his right hand dude just wants to blow him. He has another right hand dude that wants to play with him. He has a dude that's constantly threatening to bite him. And then, yeah. And then he has another one that just, I guess, wants his body? What does Roku want?
No, he wants his body too.
He wants his body,
wants
yeah. And then he also has the two female characters that are after his ass as well. So, you know, technically.
I mean, that's also if you forgot about the Varia too, because the Varia is technically out for him too.
I did say Hibari.
No, the Varia.
Oh, the Varia, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
most of them at least.
Yeah, and then everyone, yeah, accepts him and wants to join his family, and
I
they're
hate
just.
this tangent so much.
I just, I love Reborn.
I do too, but I hate this tangent so much. I'm very much a stickler for like, okay, this should not be classified as this because it doesn't fit, and now I'm over here endorsing it and I hate it. So it's fine. I'm gonna talk about a harem that Shio is going to hate me talking about.
Oh no, is it what I think it is?
It is a redo of Healer.
I knew it. Okay, talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah. So again, a famous series that I'm sure most people know to because everyone's been fearmongered to stay away from it because like, oh my god, it's triggering in the first episode. Which if you're triggered by that kind of stuff, I get it. Don't watch something if it's gonna trigger you. But that doesn't make it bad. I'm sorry, that doesn't make it fucking bad just because the first 2 episodes, well, I think it's technically the second episode that's triggering. First episode is kind of a...
The entire anime is triggering.
Nah,
what are you
stop.
talking about?
Only the second episode is triggering. It's only that one scene, and actually, I have a lot of like for some of the stuff that happened in that scene. Not all of it. I don't endorse any of it in real life or anything like that. I just think, all right, you get in this world where your main character, like, he gets a power where he can heal. Like, he becomes one of the chosen heroes, and he has the power to heal people. And he gets brought into the kingdom as the what, healing hero, I think he's referred to as. And they have him heal for the first time, and he learns that when he heals somebody, he experiences everything they experienced when they got that injury. So he heals somebody who lost their fucking arm, and then he experiences what it's like to get your arm chopped off and like have to deal with that healing injury. And he's like, I don't want to heal anymore. I don't want to do this. This is too painful. Honestly, understandable. He's a fucking kid that grew up on a fucking farm, doesn't want to do this shit. Does the kingdom allow him to, like, say peace out? No.
Nope.
They fucking drug him, they torture him, they do unspeakable things to him for years on end. And then, boom, he finds a loophole after, like, kind of getting used to all the drugs that they've been pumping into his body, reverses time, builds up his tolerance against the drugs ahead of time, like, gets everything set for his future plans, learns how to harness his power, and then gets straight to work on his fucking revenge plan. And what I really respect is he doesn't get revenge on the people for the stuff from the previous time period, only if they did it to him the second time around as well. Because they haven't technically done it yet. It's not right for him to actually do anything wrong to him. So he doesn't touch anybody that didn't touch him in this timeline. I respect. As someone that I love my revenge fantasies, and this is very much like a hardcore revenge fantasy. Respect. For the triggering episode, I don't like the second part of his revenge on the princess, but the moment when he's like, okay, I'll let you go if I can break all your fingers and you don't say a word. And she's a champ. He gets through all 9 fingers and she hasn't made a word or made a sound. And right before he's about to break the 10th, he just heals her fingers and starts over again. And then she fucking belts out. He's like, oh, nope, you fucked up. I love that. I was all for that. Again, I love my revenge fantasy. That there's a couple moments where things very triggering for people. I understand that. But if you're not easily triggered by that kind of stuff, this show's actually pretty enjoyable. If you go into it and you're like, all right, well, how is he gonna fuck over these people next? I love it. I almost started reading the manga. I like the anime so much. So, I'm part of the fan base here. I even got a cosplay for the series.
Oh my god, I am having a crisis right now. I just realized that half the stuff you're explaining has happened in the fanfic that I read, and it's my favorite fanfic of all time. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I might have to rewatch Redo Feeler now just to come to terms with this.
Shio has given me shit for the past year for
And then
liking
I'm
this
sitting here and I'm
series.
like, oh wait, the fanfic. I think the only thing is there's no like, I can't say there's no reincarnation in this fic.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, there's no reincarnation in this. It's just he's rewinds time.
Oh yeah, there's no time rewinding.
Yeah.
There's time going forward, but there's no time rewinding.
Yeah, no, I've watched this series 3 times. Mostly because I show it to other people. I showed it to Shio by accident. I didn't mean to actually show it to Shio, but
yeah, and then I got voted, and
yeah,
it's fine.
yeah. So
but I'm just like going through an identity crisis now because I'm like, wait a minute.
All right.
That has all the same themes in my fanfic.
And I only explained what happened in the first 2 episodes too. So I'm like, I didn't spoil anything. So. Because I feel like after the first episode, like that second episode scene is probably the worst one. It's the equivalent of the Goblin Slayer thing where people were like, Goblin Slayer's so triggering. And it was just the one scene in the first episode. And then after that, it becomes kind of happy-go-lucky. Redo a Hailer doesn't go happy-go-lucky, but it does tone down quite a bit. Not
if you hear about the thing in episode 2 is probably the thing people talk about the most when it comes to.
Which I'm told it's much worse in the manga. Which is why I almost read the manga.
I will pass on the manga.
Yeah. Because after he breaks her fingers, and this is the triggering part, he says, I can either get you with this metal rod I just pulled out of the fire, or my rod. In the manga, she doesn't get a choice. She gets the metal rod. So yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta move on.
Yep, I got that one out of the way early. It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm doing a very cursed harems, by the way, so it gets better from here, but I did not pick like the Mary Sue harems.
I have 2 Mary Sue harems. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna talk about one of them, and then I'll talk about my favorite one, and we'll go back. Okay. When obviously alternating. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna talk about one that I know you like because I like it, and we talk about it a lot once in a while. Uta no Prince Sama.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the story where you are the main character, or if you're watching the anime, there's main character. I think her name's like Natsumi.
I don't remember.
Nanami. It's not Nami.
She's a self-insert character.
Yeah, she's your self-insert. And so she's a composer, and she ends up going to the school of all these like really talented people who sing and compose to become like idols. And the thing is like the idols get to be paired up at the end of this like school year, whatever, they get paired up with one person, and you're the songwriter for this idol, and they become famous. Or you hope they become famous. And she meets like all of these different guys who she's really good at writing songs, and they really like her songs, and she's inspired by all of them individually, and you essentially get to like pick your route. And I like the music. I like the characters. I have, there's a few that I'm like, not as excited about, but that number has decreased over time. Now there's only like 1. And yeah, it's very enjoyable. In the more like romantic stuff happens if you want her to.
Hold on, you're cutting out.
Game. Oh, that might be computer.
Okay, go ahead. You're good.
So if you're playing the game, you're gonna get more of the romantic stuff. But if you are watching the anime, there's like romantic elements in it, but like obviously no one's going to win in the anime. So.
You're watching the anime for like the music and the dance scenes, because some of those dance scenes are a little suggestive.
Yeah, very suggestive.
I only saw 2 seasons of it. I haven't watched past that.
I started season 3, and I stopped because it wasn't easy for me to find at the time, and I haven't come back to it. and I've watched the Tours movie and the side story that goes with Tours.
Okay.
And Tours, that was an experience. I was like, holy shit! I was in heat watching that movie. I
Oh
swear to
my
God, it
god.
was. I was
Never.
like in the movie theater, like trying not to like keep my calm. I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing.
I was never expecting you, of all people, to use the term. I was in heat.
I don't know how else to explain it. I was just like enamored, and I'm like, my heart was like racing the entire, except for the one guy's performance, because I just actually two guys' performance, because I forgot the second guy is not introduced until season 2. I don't like him either. That gives it away. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
I was smiling. Actually, no, my heart was still pounding because my characters were the background dancers. Anyways, it was fine. I just I left there and I felt like my life was changed, and because of how much I love all these boys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I went home and then I stared at the wall, and I was like, I love all these men, but none of them are real.
Valid.
What is wrong with me?
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, I got into Utena Prince Sama just because I just happened to run across one of the music numbers, and I was like, all right, I kind of like the way they're pivoting their hips a little too much. I need to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Purely only reason I got into it. I'm not really an idol anime person, but
They
got
do
me.
love their hip motions, I will
Yep.
say, in this anime.
Yep. Very well
And
animated.
I have to say, we love it. So,
Valid.
so yeah, this one's like the story's there, but you're there for the boys with the personalities, and they're all very distinct. They all have really unique voices.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I like all of them except 2, so it's fine.
Fair. I feel like I like 2 of them, and I don't care for the rest of them.
I like don't okay, so the ones I don't like is, I think you like this person, which I feel bad. But I don't like Natsume, but I don't like the really cute sugar sweets personality
Mm-hmm.
aspect. And then I don't like Cecile, and I don't know what it is about him that I don't like, but I just don't like him.
Yeah.
So, but I like all the other ones. But Tokia's my favorite, in case no one picked up on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't come up in the husbando episode at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. But I had to bring up Utsupri. I'm gonna bring up Utsupri every chance I get, man.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So my next one, actually, I'm just gonna get the erotica anime out of the way because I don't think the rest of them are technically that spicy. So we're just gonna go downhill with the with the spice on my side. Yosuga no Sora in Solitude, we are at least alone.
I don't know anything about this, but I know I've heard this name before.
So I give this one credit for the way it did a visual novel, because you know a lot of times when they do visual novels, they're like, all right, we're gonna pick like one route and we're gonna go down that route for this anime, or we're gonna try and combine all the routes together in like some kind of Frankenstein where he kind of has moments with all of them from all the routes, but like nothing ever fucking happens. This one has like a very unique way of doing it. So this one, a pair of twins, first red flag, twins. They move. They both lost their parents, so they move out to the country home or whatever, their childhood home. And they meet up with like childhood friend and like various other people from the school or whatever. But like every couple of episodes, they cover an entire arc. Like you get to see the entire arc for like one girl, and then it's like, okay, time rewound to this point, and then the next couple episodes are him going through the route for the other girl, and then it rewinds again, and then it goes back until it gets to the true route, which is unfortunately his sister. But yeah, he bangs all the girls, by the way. Just spoilers straight out the gate. At the end of every route, he bangs every single one of them, and they kind of show it
at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Damn.
Actually, Can I spoil the ending for you?
I don't think I'll plan on watching this. So yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
I'm gonna. So anyone who doesn't want the spoiler for the end of this series, which is kind of the main reason I really like this, sticks out of my mind a lot. Go ahead and skip to the next chapter. Or skip ahead a little bit if you're on Spotify because it doesn't really do the chapters. Sorry. So he's banging his sister in the doorway of their house, and the childhood friend ends up like trying to come over, and she opens the door and she just sees him banging his sister, and she's like screaming, and then the little sister sees that the best friend sees, and she's like telling him to stop, and he's just so deep into it he doesn't even realize what's going on, so he just like banged his sister right in front of his childhood best friend.
So like, okay, I need to ask about this.
Huh?
Like, is this in front of like the front door, like outside in the front door, and the inside of the
uh,
front door,
it's where
or
they put
like?
their shoes.
Okay, okay,
And it's in
okay.
that little area, I believe, if I'm remembering the scene correctly. It's very vivid scene in my memory. But yeah,
Okay, because I was when you first mentioned, I was just straight up like, man, they're not even in the front door yet, and they're
no,
banging. Like
the
what?
the friend was
I was
just
like,
that
that's
on that
bold.
kind of level where she was like, she knocked a little bit, and then she was just like, oh, I think I hear somebody inside. Opens the door, like, yeah, it's fucking wild. It pulls no punches, and I'm for that. I don't mind like the offbeat stuff that most people find offensive, because I don't find a lot of stuff offensive. I get when it's not for everybody, uh, but it left an impression, which I think speaks for itself. So I just have to give a nice little shout out to that one. I think the rest of mine aren't well. Yeah, I think the rest of mine aren't eroticas. I
And
could
then
talk
I
about
should,
others that are, but
and then I should talk about my erotic one. Uh,
go for it.
um, so this one is not an anime. It's only a manga, but it's a manga that I think a lot of people have seen panels of because the panels are kind of iconic. This one is called. It has two names. It's called Harem Marriage, but it's also known as Harekon.
Okay.
So this is about a girl who got cheated on. So okay, before I get into that, so in this series, Japan has made harems completely legal, and they have strongly encouraged them because of birth rate stuff. Um, so they're like, hey, like you guys should enter harem. We have additional like benefits from the government if you guys do enter a harem. So now we have Erin introduce her main character who hates cheaters and people who want more than one girl because she's been burned. Um, she comes home and she runs into this guy and he's like, you should marry me and enter my harem. And she's like, oh fuck no, because fuck you, you want multiple girls. Like she's upset. But then her family is kind of in like a rough situation financially because her dad's in the hospital and the cafe is not doing so well. So he's like, yeah, and I'll like pay off your debts or whatever. And she's just like, okay, fine. I'll join your harem, but you ain't touching me.
Oh my god.
Um, so she joins this harem, and this guy who seemed very different at the beginning is like a lot more like, oh hello, a lot more cleaned up than what he actually seemed. And you meet the rest of his harem, which is these two girls. One of them is very voluptuous, and the other one is kind of very like the silent, reserved kind. And so he takes turns fucking them like once a week. So he's like, this week is this girl's time, this one's. But like beyond like being completely wow on the like horny scale, it actually has like a really compelling story too. And like a lot of good character development because she kind of goes through like, is harem marriages bad? Like, and she kind of like changes like over time, like her perspective on it. And the other characters kind of have their own hookups too. And you understand like what the main guy's hookup kind of is. And it's just it's a really well written character story with a lot of horniness thrown into it in a harem. And it's genuinely pretty good, and I really kind of want to reread it. A, because the horniness is top tier, and B, because the character's development is top tier, and some of the panels are so funny. I will never get over the P panel.
Oh
I'll not elaborate on that.
oh
You
my
have to see it for yourself.
I will
It's
pass.
oh, it's so funny. God, it's I haven't died laughing. Okay, no, I have. But it was like one of those like moments where you're like you haven't laughed so long and that just panel killed you in laughter. It was so good. Um and it was meant to be funny. It was made to be fun. That scene was supposed to be funny.
Mhm.
Um God no, it's you can read it on Kodansha website, I think. I really hope it gets a physical release cuz oh my god, it's so good. It's so insane. Like the art's so good. Character development's decent. And my god, the spiciness is off the charts. Yeah.
I mean, I respect some spice, but you lost me at the P panel.
No. It's not like a kink thing. It's not like a kink
I
thing.
don't care for the kink thing. I'm not gonna watch somebody. Well, I will, on condition I would watch somebody pee. But
Yeah, that is like this panel's like super late in the series, and it's like such a minor thing. By that point, I'd imagine you probably would have dropped it by then. So that's which is fine. So
oh my
don't have
god.
to worry about it.
Um.
But oh god, it's so fun. And I might just send you the P panel just
Oh my god.
you to see. It's
Let
so
me just
funny.
ignore DMs.
Let me see if I have it.
Don't you? Oh my god.
But that's my that's the only one I have that's well maybe not. That's like the most erotic one I have. Other than like World's End Harem, but I'm not talking about that one today.
I almost thought about talking about that one
Yeah.
because I was like, you know, I could just make all of mine freaking erotic harems because
I mean World's End Harem though was the erotica in it's pretty nice.
It's a lot more tame than what I was expecting though.
Same.
Yeah, like people made it out to be a lot more
degen,
yeah,
and it wasn't as degen and I was hoping.
yeah. The story is pretty okay with it though. I like the concept. My next one, I'm gonna take us back to like old school Toonami days, and I'm gonna talk about Tenchi Muyo. Specifically Tenchi Universe because like there's a couple different Tenchi series. The two main ones, I believe, the stories are very different with all the same characters basically. Which I think by the end of each series he ends up with a different girl in the harem. If I remember correctly, I haven't watched the other one, the regular Tenchi Muyo, in a while, but I've rewatched Tenchi Universe quite a few times. But they start out very differently as well. My favorite girl, Ryoko, like always starts off the series in like the original. He kind of awakens her because she's like sealed inside this rock, and she like causes terror and whatever because she's a space pirate. But in universe, her ship crashes on like Earth because she's being chased by the space police, and he runs into her there. But main premise, Tenchi like comes from a long line of like mystical sword wielding samurai from space, and they just live on Earth now. And he hears all these stories and stuff, but he's like didn't put much stock into it until after like all this hijinks happens, and then he finds out from his dad and his grandpa like, oh yeah, we have this magic light sword, and like we're from space and we're from this like royal family and stuff, and you're the new prince. So like one of the characters is actually like a princess from a like another space clan. Then you of course you have the space pirate Ryoko, and you have like the space police are there. You even get like the doctor scientist lady that made Ryoko, as well as Ryo-Oki, who is this really adorable cat rabbit thing that is obsessed with carrots and turns into a giant spaceship.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a lot. But it's one of the classic like Toonami series, where it has that style of like older anime. It's like a 90s anime. that came out in Toonami in early 2000s, so the animation was already dated by the time we were getting it in the US. But also, the Tenchi Universe opening is one of my favorite English openings that is from that era, and it goes so fucking hard. It doesn't need to go as hard as it does. But I think, of all the Harem series that I've watched, it's the first one where I kind of understand the appeal of all the females. Like, I have my favorites, obviously, but I kind of get the motivation for most of the females going after him, even though he's really just kind of a normal dude. Whereas most of the time, it's just, yeah, they're interested in him because they're written to be interested in him. Whereas this one, like, yeah, you see a little bit of the budding of interest from each of the female to him through different events and stuff, depending on which series you watch, or the movie, or we don't talk about GXP. GXP is like Tenchi Muyo, but Tenchi's not the main character. It's some other random dude that just has bad luck, and then there's a whole other cast for some reason. And then there's also a spin-off series where, okay, here, actually, I take back what I said about understanding all the female characters. There's a love interest in here that is a little girl. She is it's never, like, played on, like, in a serious manner or anything like that, but she's the little sister of the princess character that is interested in him. So, like, she kind of jokes around like, oh, if you don't want my sister, you can have me when I'm old enough. And he's just like, you're a little kid, leave me alone. Like, so it's never like, oh, he has spicy moments with the kid.
No, but it's like, oh, it's like a one-sided crush kind of deal.
Yeah, okay. So it's not,
that happens a lot.
Yeah, it's not creepy or anything. It's never played on. It's just, it's a little kid being like, oh yeah, you could have me instead of my sister. But there's a spin-off series where the little sister is a magical girl for some reason. It's called Pretty Sammy. I've watched some of it. I own all of it. I've never finished it. But yeah, there's a lot of spin-offs and a lot of alternate versions of the series, which I think goes to show how popular it was when it came out, I guess. I would only assume if they made like 5 different animes from this one series that aren't even just sequels, they're just alternate variations, that it has to be like somewhat successful. So
I know the Tenchi Muyo universe is expansive.
Yeah, but definitely a classic. If you didn't grow up in the Toonami era and haven't seen it, go check it out. If you do remember it from the Toonami era and never watched all of it, go check it out. What's your next?
So my next is I'm gonna go with Nisekoi.
Oh my god!
I know it's such a generic pick, but I really enjoyed Nisekoi a lot. Until it wasn't that I didn't like it. It's just like I think it slowed down and dragged out a little bit later. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed Nisekoi. I thought it was fun. It was cute. I had characters I favored and ones I didn't favor. But overall, like, all the characters had like enough development that you kind of like, even if you didn't agree, you understood where they came from. And the main character was actually interesting. Like, he had stuff going for him, so it wasn't like bad. So
yeah,
I enjoyed it, and I really liked like the main core dynamic that they had. So Nisekoi essentially starts as this guy. His family's like Yakuza, and he doesn't really want anything to do with the Yakuza. And all of a sudden they have a mafia family come down to Japan, and they're not on good terms with them, but they're visiting and trying to make things better. And so they come up with a scheme to have their kids date to force the family to get along with each other. And turns out they ran into each other earlier, and they do not really care for each other a whole lot. But now they have to pretend to date each other because otherwise their families are going to kill each other. And there's like a childhood friend. The one girl character has like a bodyguard. There is I don't remember where the other girl came from. I know one of them is like a teacher. I think the bodyguard has a girl that's friends, and then the childhood best friend has a friend, but she doesn't really fall for the main character, which is great.
Yeah.
And then like the childhood friend has a younger sister too, who falls for him too.
I'm noticing a trend.
Yeah, a lot of sisters. But overall, like they're all pretty. I liked if I didn't like them with it, I at least liked the character on their own.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a lot of them. I was like, you can do better than him. And then there was like the one character I'm like, get with him, get with him.
My God.
I did have a girl picked, so I had my team that I firmly sat on victoriously, and
Oh my God.
I do have to say, like, I respect this author. He kind of did his next series kind of like in Tenchi Muyo, where all the girls got an ending,
Mm-hmm.
depending on which like final volume you picked up.
Okay.
So I respect that. Like after that, he kind of went doing that same kind of route, but I think he does the harem formula pretty well. I think that Nisekoi though was a little too long, but other than that, it was pretty good.
I had only watched a couple episodes of it, so I'm like, it's not something I dropped with like reason. It's just something that like I never picked like fully delved into it. So when I put stuff on hold, or when I don't watch things for a while, I move it to my hold folder, and when it's been on hold for too long, I put it to my drop folder. And then it's just like, all right, eventually I'm going to pick it back up, which is why, like I said in the last episode, a lot of stuff in my drop isn't because I disliked it. It's just because I didn't finish it when I had the chance, and I never picked it back up. So I don't know if it was because like I lost internet at the time and I didn't have a way to watch it, couldn't find a download link, don't have it on physical copy, whatever the reason was. You know. So it's in my dropped list, but not because I disliked it.
Yeah. I also think Nisekoi kind of filled a void in my heart from another series that was dropped in Jump before it came out. So
a lot of those.
So Nisekoi kind of filled that little hole, but I think I did a pretty good job. I was pretty liked it. So.
Yeah. I did like the premise of it. It was just
yeah, I definitely don't want anyone to go into it thinking it's going to be the greatest experience of their life.
Yeah.
But if you want something that's enjoyable, you don't mind if it's a little slow pace. And if you're looking for something that does have like a confirmed winner at the end, Nisekoi might be for you. I don't know. I liked how a lot of them there was a lot more going on than what we initially get introduced to. So
right. So my next one I actually got into at the same time I got into Kodocha. So also a throwback back when Funimation had its own TV channel on Dish Network. So I ended up watching Kodocha and a few, I think Naruto and a few other series on there. I don't remember what all was on it. Spiral I know was on it. And it is Negima. Or Maho Sensei Negima. There are 2 series of Negima. There's Negima! Or there's Negima, with the fucking question mark. I have not seen the second one. So I don't know much about it. I was told it's less ecchi, but it's still ecchi, and that it has a completely different story, but I don't know anything about it. I've been meaning to, haven't touched it yet.
I think you made an excellent choice. I haven't seen that series, but it has been one that I've been wanting to. And so I'm very glad that you brought it up.
Yeah, it's such a good series, and it like threw me for a loop. I won't spoil anything because I think you shouldn't go into this spoiled. I think this is one of those series that's great when you don't know what's coming. Okay. But so it's a technically it is a harem, but it's a little uncomfortable, I guess, nowadays. But all the cats are underage. It's fine. But the main character is Negima, or Negi. Not Negima. Negi, he's a 10-year-old who's like a sorceress in hiding or a sorceress in training. And he has to finish his sorcerer training by pretending to blend into society. So he becomes an English teacher for an all-girls academy. Because like his connections.
He's 10 years old.
He's 10 years old, and he is teaching a bunch of like 14-year-old females. So, yeah.
That's kind of hilarious.
It is a great setup for a series. Also, best entrance of the character. So he can't fully control his power, and sometimes because he's still technically training, and that's kind of the whole point of him trying to go incognito. And a lot of these girls don't know he has powers. Like, actually, none of them do. The teachers do, but none of the students do. And in like the first scene when he meets one of his main students, that becomes a very pivotal character later on. He like sneezes and causes the windstorm and just like lifts her skirt. And then he just makes a comment to that she has a bear on her panties. And she just beats the shit out of him, not knowing that he's her like teacher. Like the entire cast of students he has to teach they each have their own very bizarre and unique stories of like why they're in this class in the first fucking place. Everything between being a robot, a ghost, a vampire.
Like, so it's a selection of oddballs.
Yeah, but like he doesn't know this going into it. So like he's finding all these secrets about his students as he goes on. The dub is adorable because they give him like this really British accent, or this like kind of British, kind of Irish accent sometimes. They float around that general area a lot with his accent, but it's really kind of like endearing in a way. But like the main girl Asuna is like becomes really close with him very early on, and the story kind of hinges around the humor of him always getting her into fucked up situations because he can't control his magic, and a lot of hilarity ensues. But there is a deeper core story to this. Again, not gonna spoil it, but it's so fucking good. If you can get past the fact that these are 14-year-old girls wanting to take a bath with a 10-year-old boy, you're good, because there is a bath scene. But it's a ride, and it was actually probably like my second harem series, because I think I watched Tenchi first, then I watched this, and then I delved into my love for harem series after that.
I'm kind of laughing because when I hear Negima, my first thought is a bath scene.
Oh my god. Oh, so this isn't technically spoilers because it's in the fucking opening. I guess kind of spoilers. Oh, by the way, his entire class does find out he has magic at some point. If you didn't predict that fucking happening, I'm sorry.
Happening.
Yeah. But so the opening of the series just has him about to kiss like his entire classroom, and it's really cute because like he has different reactions to each of them, like leaning into kiss, like whether he's shocked, embarrassed, like oh my god, don't come near me kind of reactions on his face. It's a fun opening, but it's pivotal to the point because he can make a pact with somebody in this magic world or whatever, and you make a pact with a human by kissing them. I'm not gonna spoil which one of those girls he actually kisses, but yeah, he ends up having to make a pact with one of his students, and it might not be who you expect. But there's been recently like a spin-off sequel of the series, 2017, UQ Holder, I believe. Yeah, UQ Holder.
Oh yeah,
and it's I think it's listed as a sequel actually. So I haven't watched it yet. I've been meaning to, but I also wanted to check out the other Negima series first. But yeah, so I guess that's just second series to that. So, but really good harem series. Very adorable. Very much worth a watch.
Yeah, I'll have to definitely check it out someday in the very, very distant future.
Also, I just saw that the second series is done by Studio Shaft.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's interesting. The art style doesn't look like what I know of Shaft, but I'm sure Shaft has done other stuff other than what I'm familiar with, because I don't want to picture these characters doing the shaft head tilt. That's uncomfortable. I don't like those angles. That's why I couldn't make it through the Monogatari series.
Yeah, the chef's done quite a bit.
Yeah. Alright, what's your next pick?
This will probably be my last pick.
Okay.
This one should be obvious to you, and hopefully now to our viewers.
Oh God.
We're gonna talk about Brokon, Brothers Conflict.
Of course. Fair.
So should we go over the plot of Brokon again?
Go for it.
So essentially there's this girl, and her dad is remarrying this lady he met, and she's happy for him. The only thing is because they're getting married, she's moving into their house, or to a house, while her dad moves in with the lady. But she's moving into a house with all of her sons because she has 13 sons.
13 very hot, 12 very hot sons and 1
child.
Yes. I had to catch myself there.
And so she ends up moving in, and she has to get to know her brothers, and as she gets to know them, each of them fall in love with her. And she has a pet squirrel who's annoying.
I love Juri. What do you mean?
I like his little shouts in like the ending thing where he's like, Urusei!
I love him so much. He is the inner dialogue that she really fucking needs sometimes.
Honestly, like, sometimes he's annoying, but he really is thinking everything the viewers is thinking too.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, no, like, it is so funny. It's very enjoyable. It's definitely one of the favorite harems to watch with friends.
Yeah.
It's also really quotable too.
It also has like one of the best like opening and endings.
It does.
So I enjoy the opening and ending where they're sung by like the entire cast as well.
Yes. Gosh, and there's an extended version too. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, and the extended version's pretty good. There's been some like good like English covers of the songs too. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's very fun. The boys, if you will at least find one guy that you will like and relate to,
or you're me and you relate to like 6 of them.
I mean, yes, you can obviously find more than one, but there should be at least one for everyone. I think though it's funny that still at the end of the day we have the same favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, for me, it's the whole trio. It's just if I have to pick a favorite of the trio, it's gonna be that one.
Yeah.
Because of one scene.
Yeah. That one is my favorite for me. But I have like my own pick for her. Because I feel bad for them. I'm like, oh, because this is like episode 1, but like one of the guys is her classmate.
Okay.
Yeah, the red-haired one.
Yeah, I was gonna say like which one do you? Because there's 2 of them. I would say that were good for her. Because it's the red-haired one and the dark-haired one that are both like around her age.
Yeah, the red-haired one. I feel bad because he already had a crush on her before, and he had no idea that was gonna be his sibling.
Yeah.
So
I honestly like the other one more for her though, because like I like his vibe a lot better for her because he doesn't get all like angry with her over the stupid shit.
I despise him. I really don't like him. I'm just like, bitch, make a decision. Stop putting your troubles onto her shoulder. She doesn't understand what's going on. She's just trying to get to know her brothers. I'm just
oh my god. Lord.
And if you ever, it's a great experience whether you watched it dubbed or subbed.
I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but is there a thing at the end of the episode where at least one of the guys is saying something to her or saying something to the audience watching or something? of like be with me or something, or you're my only one, or like something like that. I feel like I vividly remember that. I remember it from 2 different harem shows.
I don't think it's this one because the episode normally ended on like their kiss, 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 I need your love, and then it usually just ended.
I don't know if it ended on it or started with it, where it was just like they're kissing the flower and they're like talking to you or talking to her.
They're talking to her. No, that's that happens at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, those scenes make me. Those scenes are my favorites because they're so funny.
Yeah, I was like, I remember that for 2 different series I've watched, and another one is also a visual novel, and they kind of do that. I think they do it at the end.
Yeah, they do it at the beginning, and she always ends it on, of course we love each other. We're family.
I know, she's so I feel bad for her because she's literally just like so excited. She's been an only child, and she's excited to like not be alone because her dad's always gone and leaves her by herself. They've always had like siblings and they've always been together even though their mom's always gone. So she's just excited to not be alone for the first time. And then all these guys are like female. And I'm like, oh my god. Please stop. Well, they're all like that except for the one who's just like, I just want to cut your hair. Can I just style your hair for you? Like, even the like, monk is like hard hitting for her.
Oh yeah. He's one of the ones lusting the hardest. What are you talking about?
I know. It's so weird. God. Yeah, I'm thinking about the casting for that too.
The cast is all-star on either side. It is an all-star cast, no matter if you're watching sub or dub. It is.
Well, I would say it's an all-star cast for its time because we definitely have new stars for the English dub for sure.
Yeah, back then it was like
these were the names you would hear everywhere.
Yeah, they were all the big anime voice actors at the time.
Yeah, all the male voices that do all the hot anime men.
And then we have Colleen Clinkenbeard as the main character,
who honestly does female protagonist role for these series quite a lot.
Yeah, like, I just whenever I hear her name, I just think of like all the other roles she did that are iconic, and I'm like, and then she did Emma.
Man. I kind of want to go get the autographs of everyone on this cast on like my box set for it.
Oh, I'm already doing that. I have like the box set had like all those like little photo cards.
Yeah.
So anytime they come, I'm having them sign their photo card.
I would just so I would want it all on the cover. But there's beef with voice actors. I don't know how that's gonna work because I was like, what order do I get them in? And then like either way, I'm gonna be screwed because there's 2 voice actors in this cast that hate each other. So
just give it to me. And I'll just go up to them.
Yeah, I mean they're not gonna give shit to me. Like there's one that is ironically probably gonna have the better attitude about signing it and not gonna be an ass when he sees the name on it. But the other one will probably be like, oh, I'm not gonna sign this. You have his name on there. Just because I've seen it. Prefacing, I've worked at cons and I've worked with voice actors as their PR at their signing booths, and I know this voice actor is like this. I'm not gonna name him. This is a large cast. He could be anybody in here because he could play the fucking squirrel for all you know. I've seen him do worse. So, I've seen the ugly side of this industry. Don't ever meet your heroes. Get autographs from them. Never work with them. It's fine. It taints your view on them. Yeah. Great pick though.
Yeah, I think it is textbook harem.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is also a half of our title for our podcast.
It is. It's a very. I felt it would be criminal if it didn't get brought up.
No, it's one of those series that's gonna get brought up a lot here because there are 2 anime that brought us together, and
this is one of them.
Yeah, there's a reason why they brought us together this hard. So, I guess
it was the BroCon we met along the way.
Yes. Oh my god. I guess my last one then. I'll actually pick a female protag harem for this one.
Oh.
Torn between 2. One of them you might know. I'm gonna pick the one that I don't think you do know because you don't typically watch magical girls. Um, there's an early 2000s magical girl series that is technically a harem as well. Um, and I love introducing people to this series. It's called Prétear, the new legend of Snow White.
I do want to watch Prétear someday.
It is really fucking good. Um, it is the epitome of lewd handholding in anime too. So main character, she's literally living like the Cinderella story, which so I don't know why they call it Snow White, because she lives with her stepmother and her two stepsisters that treat her like shit, and she basically like does everything for them. This is again 2001 anime, so like main character is going to be very loud and kind of obnoxious at times. That's just how shoujo females were in that era for the most part. But she gets picked up by these very attractive men who like pick her as like she's destined to be the new I think that's the word they use is like priestess in the dub. I don't know what it's called in the sub, but she's supposed to fight this like evil entity or whatever. There's a huge plot behind who the actual evil villain is, and it's fucking great. I love the plot twist they add into it. But the way she does her magical transformations is she has like 8 guardian warriors at her side, and when they hold hands, she takes their power within her, which means she takes their entire self within her. So they hold hands, and all of a sudden the guy is inside her. And she gets magical powers based off of their warrior powers. So if she holds hands with the wind guy, she gets the wind powers in a wind outfit. So she gets different outfits with each one. They do play on the whole, like, she's freaking out that he's inside her because she can hear him inside her head. And she's like, it's weird, get out of my body kind of thing. Very, very comedic on that. She gets kind of used to it, though. Not all. Most of the guys are really, really good and really well like developed. There is one I absolutely hate. Granted, I think you're supposed to hate him, so it's fine. The questionable part is, it's only slightly questionable. 3 of her guardian warriors are small children at the time, because the warriors are just like her. Whenever they die, they get reborn. But they get reborn with their memories. She's becomes the new priestess. She has no memories of what she's supposed to be or anything of this. These guys are reborn, and then they're 5-year-olds, and they're like, oh, I'm the warrior of fire. I know what my duty is. I gotta protect the priestess kind of thing. So these 3 warriors have already died in the previous fight with the previous priestess. So they've been reborn recently. So they're smallish children. And she does transform with at least one of them, I think. But I think it's mostly in training. But it's also kind of daunting because when it's introduced pretty early on that when she takes damage in that fighting form, she doesn't take the damage. The warrior inside of her does. Ooh. And she's not fully aware of this at points. So they get kind of beat up pretty bad. It's a unique take on Magical Girl, where it's like, okay, it's not just a team of magical girls or one magical girl fighting and then like she has a love interest. Like, no, she takes her power from her knights and then she uses that. And again, she holds their hand and then they go inside her and magical transformation happens, and it's fun. It's very, very enjoyable. I don't remember how many guys there actually are. I remember the 3 I like, the 3 children, and then the one that I don't like. So, yeah, it's a short series too. It's only like 13 episodes. So,
okay. But, yeah, no, that sounds really good. It actually reminded me a bit of Guilty Crown, which Guilty Crown came later.
Yeah,
Guilty Crown came later. So
it kind of has the same feel sometimes to it as well.
Mhm.
So I can definitely see that because even just like watching both of the series, they kind of the transformation sequence. I would say I could see it being in Guilty Crown and fitting pretty well. Not the characters themselves, but like the transformation like scene that is rehashed over and over again with every Magical Girl series. So,
Okay, yeah, no, that does sound really good. I definitely, it's already been on my list to check out, but
mhm.
it's definitely still on my list.
Yeah, is one of my favorites. It's probably in my like top 3 Magical Girl series as well. So,
Oh yeah.
but,
It's from what I understand, it's been insanely popular.
yeah. The other one that I was gonna mention, I'm like, I'm pretty sure you've probably watched it. You probably read the manga actually. So I was like, we'll talk
Out
about
of
that.
curiosity, what one was that?
It's also a full Japanese name in both English and Japanese. So I'm like, Hana Sakeru Se Shonen.
Is it not Hanakimi? No.
Here, I'll give you the mal real quick because it feels like something you would like. It's like it's definitely very shojo. Pretty men harem
Oh,
series.
I've never watched this or read this actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've seen it around. I just haven't gotten to it. What year was?
Fair.
Yeah, I remember this was airing and I remember seeing it in like anime opening and ending lists.
Uh-huh.
And it was one of those ones like, I want to check this out, but I never got around to it.
It definitely has one of those characters that is very much your type. So I was like, the minute I looked at it, I was like, oh no, Shio's gonna love that man. She's probably already watched it. So
Well,
yeah.
nope, I have not actually. So
Very
congrats.
interesting. Surprising. Okay, never mind. I should have talked about that one instead. All right. Shall we do a vibe check before we get into our own
You were
harems?
reading my mind because I was about to call a vibe check if you weren't.
What have you been reading?
So I just got a bunch of manga in, so I've been reading a lot of the titles that I got that are newer.
Mhm.
This one I started technically reading before it came out, but I stopped because I wanted to read it officially. And I finally finished volume 1, and I think it's pretty good. It's called The Summer Hikaru Died. I've mentioned this one before because
Mhm.
they had the big promotion at Anime Expo,
Yeah.
and I told you I was excited about it. So I actually read the whole first volume now, so now I can like really go into it. So essentially, it's a story about these two boys who are best friends, and this one guy, very much is like something's off. My friend, since they went missing, they're not the same. Like there's something off about them, and he turns to him and he's like, "You're not Hikaru. You're not this guy. You're not my friend." And Hikaru, in print like quotations, like stops and is like, how could you tell I'm supposed to be a perfect imitation? And turns out Hikaru is now a monster. Like an app, like it's a monster pretending to be him, and they took over their corpse. So
Okay.
this character, so now the main character is like, so he's like, now that you know, I'm gonna have to kill you unless you promise not to say anything. And the main character's like, I won't say anything. Like, just we won't have to change our dynamic. You just be Hikaru, and I'll just be me. And the guy's like, oh, good. I really liked you. I didn't want to kill you. So now the main character is dealing with the fact that his friend is now a monster, and he's been friends with a monster, and he made a promise with a monster, and that his best friend is dead. His best friend that they sounds like they had adolescent feelings towards each other, but neither have been addressed.
Mhm.
Um, and now, as he like continues living with this new Hikaru, weird things keep happening. Um, and while he's also emotionally dealing with like what the fuck is going on, it's a really good. It's technically a horror, and it is very like it's very unsettling. It's not like in your face blah horror. It's just very like unsettling the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of very psychological. It is very decent. Like it's very well done. Like, granted, I've only read one volume, but this has won awards or been nominated for awards for a reason.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning it when you started bringing up the premise. I was like, okay, yeah, I do remember you telling me about this one for sure.
Yeah. But now I've read more, and I'm like, okay, I have a bit better understanding, and I can definitely fully recommend this because holy crap, I like finished volume 1 and I wanted to read the next volume, but I was just like, I also was like, I need to like take a break because I'm like, it gave me the same feelings I got when I watched Aku no Hana.
Okay, yeah.
And when a series can do that to me but not make me feel like so creeped out that I can't keep going,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty decent. So I'm like, yo, this is up there. I like this.
Okay. That does sound interesting. If it wasn't a manga, I'd probably check it out. If it gets an anime.
So this is like one of the series where I'm like, I kind of don't want to get an anime.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like, oh, the anime couldn't do it. No, the anime could do it,
Yeah.
but I feel like the way it makes you feel unsettled is something. If the anime were to do it, they would have to do something completely different because
Right.
you're gonna have the music's gonna be a factor, the paneling and everything. But it's going to be different than the manga, and I appreciate how the manga did it because it's very like a very different type of artism, which is kind of like I was like, it's like one of the manga that make me appreciate the fact why I love manga. So
Fair.
like I don't I think I'll probably end up getting an anime somewhere down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I probably will end up not watching the anime adaptation. But I will love the manga.
I
So
definitely will, and if it gets an anime, I'll tell you about it.
yo, tell me about it. That'll be fun.
uh, my vibe check also actually a psychological series.
Oh,
Um, I'm actually very angry in regards to it, not at the series itself, but at the reception of the series, because it's a seasonal one from the season, and it was one that was on my like plan to watch list when I first went through the summer 2023 like lineup. It has since gone lower on like people's radar. Like its total mouse score right now is a 6.67. And I don't understand why. Only like 4,000 users have watched this, and I'm like, more people have watched this shitty vending machine isekai than this, which is so much bullshit. How are you gonna watch and rate that thing higher than what I've seen of this so far? Because there is no way in fucking hell that vending machine piece of shit is anywhere close to as good as this is. It is English title, The Gene of AI. The Japanese, I know Idenshi? Don't know how bad I butchered that. Sorry, but it's a science fiction sci-fi. I'm going to spoil the first episode, by the way. I'm sorry. Kind of the best way to summarize it, but because like,
good.
yeah, the description of the synopsis doesn't do it justice. To be fair, the description lays out the groundwork, but it doesn't like actually prepare you for what the series is, which I'm very happy with what it is. Because it's a world where like we now have humanoids, which are basically robotic humans. They have AI personalities and everything. They participate in regular activities. They go to school alongside regular children. They go to work alongside regular workers. They you can't really tell them apart from regular humans apart from apparently the eyes. And it's just normalized kind of. There's like some laws regarding it. And there's a lot of like politics going into it that I'm just now starting to touch on a little bit. First episode, you're kind of introduced. You get a kind of a flashback of his younger days, but you're introduced to this doctor, Pseudo Hikaru, And
so funny.
he is a humanoid doctor, so he handles technical issues. He does basically virus protection and like helping people with actual mechanical issues and problems within their programming and stuff. But he also does illegal procedures on the side because he has his own agenda for this, which is introduced later. I'm not going to go into that. If you want to get into that, you should watch the second episode. But first episode, he's called for one of his illegal jobs to go help out where it's a husband and a wife and they have a daughter, and the wife is like spazzing out. She can't stop shaking, can't figure out what's going on. Apparently, the husband backed up her memory a few days prior, which is illegal in this world. And it's illegal because people have been using backups as a way to commit crimes, identity theft, and people have been wrongly put in prison because of things, because you can't really prove it wasn't you if it's your body but somebody else's personality put into it, or vice versa. Like, there's no way to kind of like track that. So backing up your data is not allowed. If you die as a robot, you're still dead. End of story. So this guy backed up his wife's data, and it's given her a virus, basically. So he can't get rid of the virus because it's taken too much of a hold, but he can use the backup to basically back up her memory. This scene set up so much of how this series is going to work out, because like they kind of talk about it and they're like, okay, yeah, this is going to be fine, but she's going to lose like a week's worth of memories because this backup was made prior, so it only has the memories up until that point. And they have a small daughter, and she doesn't really get it. And she's just like, well, yeah, he can fix her, so it's no big deal. But the wife is like, as she's thinking about it, and she's having these like new moments with her daughter, she's like, it's not gonna be me. Like, it's that for them, it's still gonna be me, but it's not gonna be me. And as he's about to like format her and like reboot her engines, she like breaks down because she's so scared that it's not going to be her anymore. It's literally not her. It's her backup data, but it's not her. And you even see, after spoilers, I'm sorry, first episode, they eventually go through with the formatting and give her backup data, and the next morning the daughter wakes up and she notices something that changed, because she's like, well, in the past week she started doing this with my breakfast and she's not doing it anymore. And it's like that small little change of like, this is a different mother now. And it's something you don't think about. You wouldn't really think about in this kind of context of a series. You're like, oh yeah, back up the data, it's no big deal. But like, the fact that they treat it as an actual human issue, and they've continued to do that throughout the series so far. Like, these kind of things that happen because of backed up data, or because crimes happening within like using people's memories against them, it carries so much fucking weight. I'm watching it, I'm like, how the fuck is nobody watching this? I get it. We have, mediocre JJK happening. We have fucking Magic Boy Man going to magic school to fix his PP anime. We have new season of Shield Hero gets another probably slave wanderer or something. I don't fucking know. We have Bleach. We have like a lot of good series.
Everything got like a weird explanation. You're like, Bleach, next one.
I mean, that's honestly in the Bleach is like the 7th on the list right now as far as popularity on Mal for the season, which is baffling to me because Bleach is amazing. And I'm okay. Bleach is the only one I'm okay with being above this right now. But there's so much bullshit that's above this. Goblin Slayer Season 2, Zom 100, which, yeah, people are talking about it. It can't be that fucking good. I'm sorry. The main character does not seem like he's that interesting. Fucking shitty isekais, Devil's a Part-Tamer Part 2 sequel. Another isekai. the vending machine anime. Here's another isekai, My Tiny Senpai. The fucking weird masterful cat anime where the fucking horror story of this woman living with a humanoid cat thing is above it. Alterez Reza, which is like the one based off that one video game. Here's another isekai. Here's another isekai. Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Apart. Like, all these are above this. And I don't understand why. Like, the only one I understand is Bleach, Duke of Death and his maid second season, and Bungo Stray Dogs. Those are the only ones I fully understand being, like, way above this. Everything else, I'm not saying they're bad, but there's no way they held a candle to this, because this is... I'm not finished with it, obviously, because it's still going, but it's good enough that it's in subs, and I'm watching it in subs, and I binged watched it in subs.
Yeah, that does actually mean a lot coming from you.
So, like, it's so fucking good so far, and it's
it sounds really good. I'm gonna say, like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh dang, I definitely overlooked this one, and this sounds really interesting. It actually sounds like, yeah, very psychological horror, like very unsettling, but in like a way I'm like that I find interesting.
Yeah, it's like it's done so well, and again, that's just the first episode. You kind of get a glimpse into like why he's doing this kind of work in the first episode. They expand on it more in later episodes, and you kind of get like what his big plot thing is. I'm not gonna spoil that because I think that's a very interesting topic to talk about, and you know, just the way they're handling something like this, because it's so fucking good. Like, I need more people to watch this, please. It's on Crunchyroll. It's literally on the site that everyone fucking has. It's not even on High Dive or Netflix or Amazon Prime. It's on Crunchyroll. Yeah, I've been binge watching it.
That's actually been my problem with watching anime, is that it's on Crunchyroll.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they don't have like an app on the smart. Like, if you get a smart TV, like if you got like an older one, not even an old one, like only like a few years old, there's no Crunchyroll app like built in, and you can't download more apps. The only way you can is if you buy a Roku or a Fire Stick, and so one of our TVs has it, so I'm able to kind of watch stuff on there.
Right.
But the other TV doesn't. And so I'm like, that's like the TV I would normally use to watch it, and I can't, because I mean, I could use my PC, no problem, but if I'm sitting in front of a TV, I'm like, oh, what anime do I want to watch? I want to go to Crunchyroll, and if I can't go to Crunchyroll, then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to watch something else.
Fair. I watch everything either on my PC, on my laptop, or on my PlayStation, so Crunchyroll's on all of those, but like, yeah, it's just, it's there. It's a little frustrating because, like, I've known this is a problem. Like, we live in a society right now where all of the anime fans are like, oh my god, why do I have to pay for 3 to 4 different subscription services to watch every anime that comes out this season, but then they proceed to only talk about one anime that entire fucking season. Like, what? Why do you need all these subscription services? Because you don't even watch all the shit that's on Crunchyroll. Literally 90% of people on my Twitter, at least, everything else is very different, but Twitter is talking about JJK. So many people are talking about JJK. JJK is on Crunchyroll. You know what else is on fucking Crunchyroll? A shit ton of better anime. Please. Please. You don't get to bitch that there's stuff on other platforms if you're not even gonna bother talking about the stuff that's on the platform that you're using. So
yeah, Crunchyroll has so many options.
It does, and I'm okay with like having multiple streaming services because I don't want a monopoly on anime. That's a bad thing to have. There's a reason there's laws against it. You know, we're gonna get taken advantage of if that's gonna happen. So no, I just don't want Netflix in touch with it. Everything else is fine. Netflix, get the fuck out of here. Also, please stop splitting up my seasons into different platforms, because I don't like having to watch a second season on Hulu when I watch the first season on another platform. That's weird, but otherwise, please don't give me a monopoly on one platform. Please, thank you.
Yeah. I don't want a monopoly. I'm okay with having like 2 to 3
Mhm.
like, especially since like if you're watching anime on Netflix, people usually have Netflix for other reasons as well, so it's like
Yeah.
okay, that's just a bonus.
I'm
Um
I'm okay with Netflix having older anime. I'm okay with them having big named anime. I think it's great if they have like Naruto, Old Bleach, DBZ, like One Piece, things that are very mainstream because it helps bring in more anime fans into another medium. I think having the big names on there is great. I don't want them making any more original anime. I don't want them
yeah.
touching pre-existing series and making anime of it because Seven Seas is a fucking disaster. I don't want them making their shitty slideshows of Record of Ragnarok. I don't want their shitty dubs. I like Beastars is great. Beastars is the one diamond in this entire rough of Netflix. But literally everything else I've watched on Netflix that has been anime exclusive to Netflix, they have found a way to fuck it up. So
I will say my happy marriage has been doing really well and looks really good.
I will get to that at the end of this month because I will be buying Netflix for One Piece and then My Happy Marriage, and that is it. But I'm gonna wait till
Yeah.
One Piece is out, and then I'm gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna like not pay for it again.
No, you're good.
So
That's the way to do it, honestly. Yeah.
it doesn't have anything else for me. So all the anime it does have that are actually good renditions are generally on other sites or I've already watched. So
Yeah, Netflix has my favorite C drama. So, and I rewatched that C drama more times than what should be considered healthy.
oh my god.
So, because it doesn't really have a happy ending. It's a very like, wow, life sucks and then you die kind of thing.
Right.
Watch it far too often.
Oh god. I just I don't know. It frustrates me because when I saw like I watched it, I was like, I get nobody's talking about because we do have some like quote unquote big names this season with like Bleach, Bungo Stray Dogs, JJK, and even Rurouni Kenshin coming out this season. I get nobody's talking about it. Anime community has a very small attention span and they only know how to focus on like maybe 2 things at once. Fine. But then I saw the score it had, and that just fucking set me off. And I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. Like, hold on, I want to see something real quick. Where's the shitty fucking bullshit? Where? Vending machine isekai. AI has 4,000 users watching it. Vending machine isekai has 12,000. Why are 12,000 people watching the vending machine isekai? Granted, it's not rated that much higher. It's rated a 6.4 as well.
But enough people tuned in for the second season.
I hate the anime community. The anime community was a fucking mistake. Anime was not a mistake. The community fucking was. This is bullshit. I hate looking at this stupid vending machine with this freaking anime eyes on it. It's so stupid.
Part of me, even though I have no interest in ever checking out this anime, I kind of want to cut out like these stupid big anime eyes and just put them on random vending machines.
Oh my god!
just to make people uncomfortable.
I mean, to be
fair,
mean,
like normal people. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if in Japan somewhere they did something like this for promotion and put it on a bunch of vending machines.
Yeah, but I think it'd be so funny and just like random businesses going up and like random places in the United States where people who like don't watch a lot of anime are. Like in your workplace, everyone has like a workplace vending machine. Like just stick it on your workplace vending machine, and everyone be like, "What the heck?"
I will say this because this gets mentioned on a podcast I watch fairly regularly because every fucking week they've been bringing up this stupid anime. And every time they bring up one line that is apparently in the dub, and it's supposed to be the line that's supposed to sell you on this anime, and every time they say it, it sells me on it less. It's like, okay, the first time you told me about this stupid joke in the dub, I was already like, I'm not gonna watch this anime. Okay, now I know this anime is definitely trash because he says this. That's fucking that doesn't even sound appealing. And then they keep making the okay, this is the only joke in the entire series. I get it. It's a bad joke. It's the only joke, apparently. I'm fucking done. Because apparently in the first episode, the vending machine says, "I'm gonna vend." Top class joke there. Apparently the highlight of the entire series. I'm gonna vend.
That just reminds me of Danny Phantom saying, "I'm going ghost."
I know. I'm just like, at least Danny Phantom was fucking good. But like, you tell me a vending machine, I'm gonna vend. Oh, if that's the highlight of your fucking show, and you think that's good, let's get into our fucking harems. I'm gonna go off on this forever. I'm done.
You will. Yeah, you will. So, do you want me to start my harem, or do you want you to start your harem?
I say you go ahead and start since this is your episode, and we will save our like number one guy for the last.
Oh shit! I was just gonna go by age.
No, your main route, the one that's like supposed to be like you know your in game. That gotta be your last one. I'm making this harder for you now. You have to pick a main route.
Oh, god damn it! I struggled enough, woman.
This was your idea.
It was my idea. And I regretted it immediately. I was like, yeah, we can do this, and then immediately hated my life. It will be. Who did I not? There's two people who I did not switch out at some point. You go first while I figure this out.
Okay, so my first pick. So for my harem, I'm gonna need that love interest I meet while I'm working out, while I'm doing sports. Like he's gonna be my gym buddy that we have that budding romance with. It's gonna be Fuji Shinsuke from Prince of Tennis. So.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so he's gonna be my first pick for my harem.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else you want to say about him?
I mean, no.
Oh, okay.
He's probably the most like stand out in this list of mine, personality wise. Yeah, because his personality, he's very like carefree and very like he has a serious mode when he actually opens his eyes, because he has the Genichimaru eyes for most part. So when he gets serious in the game, he opens his eyes and shit. But like for the most part, he's like that very happy-go-lucky character, which is generally not my type, and most of my list kind of fall in line with what my normal type is. But he was definitely like my go-to back when I was first watching Prince of Tennis, and was like, oh, I want to learn to play tennis too. And I actually joined the tennis team in middle school, and yeah, so he's been on my husbando list for a long while. All right, that's all I can say about him. Okay. I can't buy any more time for you, woman.
It's okay. I made a decision, but I'm going to go same order I was planning, except the last one is the main route.
Okay.
So my first one, people might think it's a bit weird, but I picked, his name is Wakana Gojo. It's not from not Gojo from JJK. This is the main male character, the male lead in My Dress Up Darling.
Okay. I was like, that sounds familiar.
I really like characters or people, not just characters, but people who are very, very passionate about something, and who like to work towards things, and who kind of get lost in what they're doing and like to talk about it and everything. So I really do. I I really want. So he kind of where he fits is he is the person who's like the passion one because he's very passionate about everything he does.
Okay.
To the point that it's extremely attractive.
Oh my god.
I'm like, holy shit, man. Um, yeah. I watched Dress Up Darling for him. I watched Dress Up Darling for him, um, and I think that he has a really nice, sensitive, and sweet side. And he's very like real, down the earth, has a business sense.
Mhm.
And he has that passion that I want. Um, so I feel like he would be the passion in my corner.
Okay.
um, yeah, and I will not go into more detail about how some of those panels absolutely make me feral, but it's
Oh
fine.
my god.
So, you're next.
So my next one, I'm also going back with like younger me. This is an OG husbando pick for me. This is also probably one of my most passionate picks. This fits in line with your first one, because it's also probably the closest I have to a Playboy character in any of my
Oh, I mean, he's not a playboy. He's just like,
yeah. No, I'm
oh,
just saying like my because I
yours is
generally
a
don't
playboy.
I don't normally go for the Playboy types, because
Okay.
this character definitely has dated around quite a bit because it's evident throughout the series. But you know, he'll settle with me eventually. He's and it's Musica from Rave Master, which
Oh, okay.
Musica is basically if Gray and Gajil from Fairy Tail had a baby.
Oh.
Because
Hello.
Musica is essentially like his design and Gray's were very similar. He was actually kind of the base model for Gray, but he has all the piercings that Gajil has. And
Oh.
he's a blacksmith of sorts. He's like the last of his entire family. Like his entire family was taken out, kind of almost Itachi style. But he's yeah, he's from the Musica lineage, and yeah, he's got a dark past, but he's definitely like dated around. He's more like he's more serious than most Playboy characters, but he's just man after my 14-year-old heart, and is still after my 34-year-old heart. So it's fine.
I feel that. I understand that.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's your next pick?
Um, I'm also just laughing because I realized as you were saying yours that all of my picks, they're not any of my like nostalgic favorites. They're all like,
These are the only two nostalgic favorites, and these are also the two youngest characters. Because again, Fuji is like high school age, and then Musico is when I looked it up, it said it was 18 or 19. So
yeah. This is my second youngest character. They do turn 18 in the series. Um, the so I picked Akito Yamada from Yamada Kun at level 999. And the reason I picked him was because he was kind of like my last pick because I realized I I'm someone who I either can get either really clingy in person or I'm extremely distant.
yeah.
So Akito is kind of going to be like the pick that is someone who I can be a little bit like I'm not overly clingy. Let me just like also preface this. I'm not like super overly clingy, but like if you watch Yamada Kun, you know what kind of clingy I mean. Or I should say, if you read the manga, I'm sorry if you read the manga because they didn't get that far in the anime. Um, but someone who you can just like kind of like be with and hang around and be like overly affectionate with.
Mm-hmm.
But also someone who will help me in video games. And that's kind of its own affection in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
That will put up with the fact that I suck at video games and will help me even though and there's no reward in it for them.
Right.
Um So that he's also really smart. So he's kind of going to also be the brain um of my team because well, one of the brains. He's also going to be kind of one of the like, I'm smart, I kind of know things are going on, maybe not like on a personal level, but I know like life stuff. So
Right.
so he's kind of like the fills in that role in my harem.
Okay.
God, this is so embarrassing. I hate this. I hate this so much. Okay, why? Your turn.
All right. I'm gonna request no judgment on this one. So I'm gonna pick my not emotionally void, but character that does not fully comprehend human emotion. Doesn't
Okay.
put it at their forefront. He is all brain, no heart, but has all the mind. He's also the one that's like, I'm gonna sit here and watch anime all day, and he's gonna be working, and we'll have our time together whenever we decide. Like, he's gonna be working on his computer on the side, and I'm gonna be sitting here watching my anime. We'll occasionally like share words on whatever, and it is Lloyd from Code Geass.
Oh, okay. I can see that one.
Yeah.
For you, yeah, that makes sense.
Does not hurt who his English voice actor is at all.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, definitely actually has been probably one of my top husbandos from Code Geass for a long time. Like, there in a show that's full of husbandos, he's always been kind of my pick. So, and even though he's not really a popular one. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, definitely not by any means. Yeah.
No. You know how hard it is to try and find a figure of him? I did find a body pillow of him though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Found that a long while back. It's in my closet.
Hi, Lloyd.
What's your next one?
So my next one is I'll definitely have to explain because I don't think you know who this is. So this is Iketeru Daga from Uramichi Onisan.
I'm judging on the name.
So Uramichi Onisan is essentially a story about like there's this guy who's in his 30s or about to be in his 30s, and he's like the main character of this like Onisan show for like kids, and they're like, "Hey kids!" Like he's like Steve from Blue's Clues.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of other cast members and things like that. Except like, so they have like the show, and really they're just all really depressed adults who literally just hate their lives so much, and they're just getting by. And you can see them getting worn down, and it kind of seeps into the show sometimes. It's very funny. Um, so Ikateru is the I think he's the male singer Onisan. He's he's one of the song instructors because he's the singer Onisan, what partnered with the singer Onisan. So he is the male singer. His name is a pun on like, but I'm handsome, like because he's like the handsome one. He is an absolute airhead, and he thinks dick jokes are really, really funny, like stupidly, and he's very immature. He's also voiced by Miyano Mamoru. So
Oh my god.
so but he's a ditz, and he's got a heart of gold. He likes food. He has a dog. He's super sweet, and he's like super duper airheaded, and he would just kind of be like the bestie. He's like the food lover partner and like the bestie, kind of like we're just vibing and we're hanging out, like hang out affectionately. Um and it's kind of more like my friend of the group because we can make like the same kind of jokes because he likes puns a lot, especially bad ones. Um and he's just beautiful and fun to be with, and he likes singing, and we could sing together and stuff like that. Maybe not formally, but um and yeah, and he sounds like Miyano Mamoru, and I'm sorry, like he just likes making jokes, and we can make jokes together, and that'd be a lot of fun.
I just want to add that because of the way you describe this series, it's going to take every bit of my self-control to not put Steve from Blue's Clues in the thumbnail.
you I'm, you could. But that's like the best way for us because these shows are really popular in like Japanese kids programming, but we don't really see them as much in our programming.
Yeah.
As kids, like Steve from Blue's Clues, I think is like the best example because he's the most well-known example. I think Out of the Box, if that was something you watched, also is a good example of it. Or like any of like the real people in like the big costume shows or whatever, they're like the main people.
Like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, maybe not like Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, Mr. Rogers, and these guys have a very different energy.
Okay, wait, no. What was there was oh my god, this might be before your time because this was actually a little before my time even. I just caught the tail end of it. It was there was a girl in like clown makeup and she had a rag doll and she did this whole thing where she was a clock on the floor and she'd use her arms.
No, my neighbor was obsessed with her and I didn't care for her.
I don't remember
but I
what
know
it's called.
I do know who you're talking about. It's kind of like that, yeah. Oh, what was it? Lazy Town. Isn't that the one with the guy from the memes who passed away? With the big face.
I think the only thing I know of Lazy Town, and I might be confusing this with somebody else, is the Cake song.
Oh,
is that it? Is that the same show?
I don't know. I don't. The only thing I know is like, but it's one with real people who are like playing a very exaggerated personality for the kids, and and they're like, yeah, hey kids, we're gonna sing a song now about this child, almost like Barney.
Okay,
it's like if you make Blue's Clues and Barney.
How do I know the Bake a Cake song and you don't?
Because the Bake a Cake song that I'm familiar with is the one from Azumanga Daioh.
Oh my god, I'm showing that to you after we were done recording.
but it's very funny because it's very much, it's not about the kids, it's about the adults. and the humor is very like, I think it's a very dry humor show, but I really I think the show is really funny. I think it's fun in sub and dub. So but yeah, he would, and he has a low alcohol tolerance, so I would at least be able to beat him in alcohol tolerance. So I'd be happy about that. So,
all right, my next one, again, even more so than Lloyd, I'm gonna need zero judgment from all the commenters. Shio is not gonna be able to judge because Shio does not know this character at all, so it's fine. It's great.
Still judge.
That's great because I'm gonna talk about it very little because I don't want to fully spoil you on this, but I'm also pretty sure you're just gonna forget everything by the time you do eventually get to the series because I don't see you getting into the series anytime soon. So, but this is this is gonna be my runner-up, man. This is gonna be the guy that is, he's a little rough around the edges, but he's the one that like he wants to marry me. He wants to start a family. He would want to treat you right. Like that's his entire goal. Is he's just like, I want to be the right man for you. He's the super sweetheart. And it is Vero from Gurren Lagann.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you won't know who that is. So
no, I won't.
But
for a second there, I was afraid you're gonna say someone from Vanitas, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
No. This is a series like you're spoiled on, but you don't know this character, so because this is not a character involved in the spoiler that you know.
Yeah.
My favorite character of the entire series. I love him very much. I love his entire character arc. People are going to question me based off of his design, though. So, I've already admitted I'm a furry, so it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, he'll be my runner-up. He'd be the one like he's just like, yeah, I'll treat you right. I'm gonna marry you. We're gonna start a family. We're gonna have that nice, wholesome relationship eventually. And I'm just gonna be like, yeah, no, I prefer guy number one, but you're still in the harem. I keep you around. When I'm mistreated by my main guy, I run to him. So, all right, what's your number?
kind of laughing because this character I picked is also kind of picked for similar reasons. That's not the only reasons. But so my set runner-up character is Tatsu from Way of the House Husband.
Oh my god.
Cause he
Wait, I know who voices him though.
I know
who
voices
him
though.
though.
He got a good voice too.
I haven't watched it yet, but the only reason I've been wanting to watch it is because of, oh my god.
He's got a heart of gold. He does everything, like he's so devoted to being like a good husband and everything. He cleans, he cooks, he's good at cooking, but also like he would protect me if I was in any danger whatsoever. And he's, you know, kind of a bad boy, and that's kind of hot. So even though like he's got that gap moe, and I would die. So it would be nice to be like, yeah, he's someone who would like help take care of, you know, stuff. And but also is like, you know, and he's still silly and goofy, and he would keep things like interesting. So
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in it, and for only for Jonah Scott, so you have a much better reasoning than I do.
Oh, I mean, God, I love this series. It's so good. And he was like one of those like, oh, wait a minute kind of character additions, and I forgot who he replaced in my list, but he replaced someone in my list.
Fair.
Okay.
So my number one was actually the first one I put on my list too. So it's like there was no questioning. This one was definitely going in there. We're all familiar with the trope of I can fix him. I would like to introduce everybody to the trope I can break him. Some might argue he's already a little broken, but I can tell you, cracked glass can still get broken more. He's a little on the the tsundere side, I guess. He's also the type I can kind of take care of. I can take care of him and then break him in the evening. It's fine. And it's Akutagawa from Bungo Stray Dogs. So
okay,
yeah, angry enough to definitely be in my top tier of anime husbandos, and I've always just loved his design. He's one of the few characters that has the no eyebrows, and I'm still I dig it. I'm fine. You look like your hair went through a fucking razor nest, but it's fine. I'm here for it. You just went through a fucking mental breakdown. I'm gonna introduce you to another one. We're gonna have a great sex life.
You are just going to be the hurt comfort tag.
Yes. And then when he gets too much, I have the other four, you know.
Exactly.
Here for it, you know. Again.
That's his time to recover. That's his true comfort.
But yeah, no, Akutagawa is the main reason I've watched so much of Bungo Stray Dogs. I've enjoyed that series a lot, but oh my god, I love him. I love him so much. I've never felt so conflicted of I must protect this one to also I want to destroy this one in one anime character in my life. And I'm this kind of appeals to both sides of me. He has to be here. So, but yeah, that's our harems. Yeah. Or no, you have one more, don't you? No,
I have one more.
Yeah, I
do.
Yeah,
I have my favorite. This one was really hard to pick because I knew I wanted one from this show. But my favorite character, I wouldn't be my favorite character if I separated them from their partner. And the other favorite character was I love them, but I don't think I want to be with them, you know? So so this is the first one that I was like, yeah, we could be this could work. This will work. I love them. And I think this is why they're my main route. So I picked Nagi Rokuya, and he's from Idolish 7.
My god.
You should have seen that one coming.
I don't know enough about Idolish 7 to see that one coming.
So yeah, but it's literally my biggest obsession right now. So So this is the yellow-haired character. Actually, I sent you that one clip to watch of all the. So they are like a foreigner. They're like the foreigner in the group. So they came from like a Western country, and they're in the thing. So they speak a mix of like perfect Japanese and like broken English or broken Japanese. Um, and it's really really cute and thing. But the biggest thing is they're a weeb. They are also a weeb.
Oh my
So
lord.
he is a handsome, flirtatious, like beautiful singer weeb. So we could be like weebs together, and he's gorgeous and super sweet and flirty, and I'd get very flustered very easily. Um,
As I've
the
seen
other
in person.
yes. On top of that, he has moments where he can get like very serious. And he can like be very playful. He's normally very playful, and he's like a good like mood booster. So like it's very hard to be upset with him when he's trying to cheer you up and try to make you happy. He also like I say, but he can like very much get like serious and turn like that off if it's necessary and needed. And it's pretty powerful, and that is also extremely attractive as well. Um, and I don't know. I just think our ability to get along and to find common interests, as well as I can, be his fan and root for him on the stage as well. That would be amazing.
Uh-huh.
So I think, yeah. So they would round out. It'd be him as well. So he would fit in that like. Well, I have like Ikateru to be my best friend. Nagi's gonna be like my
Right.
one to really bond with. So
Fair.
um yeah, that's my harem.
Oh,
Yay.
we're gonna get judged so hard on this.
It's it was so hard to pick because I kept like taking out people and putting people in. I originally had a fruits basket character in there,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was like, but this is too chaotic. I would not be able to handle this. This is too much. Oh yeah, because the other reason I picked Nagi was because like he's a really good like balancer.
Mm-hmm.
So like if things are unbalanced, he's really good at like kind of helping bringing the balance back to things. So
Right.
that was the other reason I picked him, is because if there was any issues, he would help with balancing things out. So
I feel like all of mine will just stay out of each other's way. And I'm like, they're just gonna stay in their own corners. We're good.
yeah.
Nobody's gonna bother each other. If anything, there's just gonna be one sulking somewhere.
Yeah, mine is one. They're all people who I can do my own thing with, but also I think like together as a group, we'd also make like a good family. So,
Oh god. Good idea on this one.
yeah, this was. I feel like my soul has been laid bare.
I did mine like as soon as you proposed the idea, we fleshed out what we were doing. Like as soon as you proposed the idea, I started working on it, and that's why I was like, okay, wait, we need to like put more guidelines on this. Like what are we doing with it? And then in that single day, I did mine, and I'm like, okay, now like I don't have to stress on it anymore. But if I think of somebody new, I have time to like go back on it. And then you message me like, I've been struggling with this for days. Like,
I know. I immediately I was like, yeah, let's do this. You're like, yeah, and we agreed upon the rules, and I'm like, okay. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit and think about it. And I sat there, and I was like, oh no, this was a very bad idea.
yeah.
Not a bad idea for you guys, a bad idea for my brain.
Oh my gosh, it was great. It was just like, because it's a whole new dynamic when it's like, okay, I'm not just picking husbandos, I'm picking characters that fit specific roles, and I'm like, I have type. I have a very specific type. And it became easier. I'm like, okay, I can't put like literally like the tsundere character in every fucking role. I can't do that. I can't just have an entire room of angry men screaming.
Funny, actually, that would have been great.
Oh my god. I would like that. That's not gonna work. I mean, the sex would be great, but like, no. So I made it a little easier. Then it was just like I did everything by elimination after that. It was like, okay, because I made a list. I was messaging somebody that was up, and I was like, so I'm making this list of a harem, and they're like, oh, how many do you have to narrow down? And I'm like, 38. And they're like, oh, you're fucked. I'm like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I kept like going through different characters. I was like, oh, I could have just like thrown in like every character I liked, but I'm like, that's like too many characters. And then I was like, but I knew like I was like, what do I as a person need in my life as in a partner?
Mm-hmm.
But ones where I can fit like different straights, and then after that I can be like, okay, now like it's more like, okay, like additional bonuses. So it was like,
Right.
I was like, okay, like who kind of fits this? And there was like a few characters that I was like, these characters for sure. And then the rest of them, I'm like, yeah, but these characters. And yeah, there was a lot of swapping.
Yeah.
Going around. I was like, but I will say Nagi did stay the entire time.
Fair.
Because I knew I didn't want to pick Momo, even though I love Momo and he's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And Ten is also my favorite, but Ten is too much dedicated to their fans that I wouldn't be able to.
I almost went through and I was just like, I'm just gonna pick my 5 from Harem series, and I was like, no, because then I'm really just gonna end up with all the same type. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm fucked regardless. I was like, so yeah. I tried different works of narrowing it down. I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Our taste in men shows so hard on here.
Yeah, well, it was hard because I actually wanted to pick like all of these like really serious like or like dad types,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, but I was at the same time I was like, yeah, but if they're all cold, standoffish with like a little bit of affection, I'm going to die from lack of affection. So,
oh my god! Right.
So I'm like, okay, damn, I gotta. That's where I had to like completely reevaluate everything.
Right.
So it was rough.
All right. Well, you want to take us out of here?
Yeah. So this was our episode on harems from Rice Ball Conflict. You can follow us on our social media, RiceCon Podcast. Or is it RiceCon Pod? Oh my god, I fuck up the Twitter name every fucking time. I swear to God.
Also, it's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
I will forever call it Twitter. I refuse to call it whatever it wants to call itself.
You had it right.
Twitter.
It is RiceCon Podcast. You were right the first time.
Okay, I was right the first time. Okay. It's only because of the character limit, man. It's because of the stupid freaking character limit. Anyways, so you can follow us on there. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify,
Google Podcast,
and Google Podcasts. Okay, I think we're on one other. And then I'm Shirley Suramiya. People call me Shio. You can find me on most social media as Shorins, or Shorins, and I'm Lady Shio on Twitter. And then this is Cyan Kincaid. Cyan, where can they find you?
I'm Cyan Kincaid on Twitch. I am Cyan Aniki on Twitter, and for my VOD channel on YouTube, it's Cyan Aniki as well. Also, if you have a favorite harem, go ahead and leave it in the comments.
Yeah,
if there's something we missed, let us know.
Yeah, talk about your favorite harems and who is your best girls. I want to see people fight over who their best girl was in these harems in the comments.
Actually,
I want to see blood.
I want to see blood in the fact that if you list an isekai harem in our comments, I will roast you.
No, I just want people. I for once I actually want to see people fight in the comments. Normally I'm like, no, don't fight. No, I think fighting over who best girls are in harem is like the best kind of fights.
Oh
So yeah,
I am not prepared for their takes.
Not either, but it'll be fine.
All right.
Right. So we'll see you around, guys. Thank you for stopping by. We love you.
See y'all next week or next post. Next episode. Something.
Next.
Everything.
Everything. My love.
Oh, Lord.